Ahoy and welcome back once again to I Like Watches. For those of you new here, my name's Gary and yeah, I like watches. I'm pretty sure you do too if you're here watching this, and I'm confident you like Seiko watches. And if you do, stick around because in today's video you're going to see exactly why I paid £800 to buy and import this sublime JDM Astron Nexter into the UK from Japan via Sakura Watches. And no includes paid promotion icon today. I bought this watch and I have no affiliation to Sakura Watches, so it makes no difference to me where you buy your JDM watches, although I do recommend Sakura because I've used them quite a bit and yeah, they're very good. Are you familiar with Seiko Astron watches? I don't think that many people are because the majority of them are JDM watches, so only available in Japan. So perhaps watch until the end of the video and I'll link a recent overview video I made where you'll learn about this fantastic range of watches. But in today's video I'll be focusing on this specific watch. You'll learn about this SBXY049 and why I selected this over all the other Astrons to pop my Astron cherry. I initially started my search by considering two things, price and looks. I think that's fairly standard. I did consider the more recent GPS models housing the latest 5X83 caliber, but the price jump was enough to make me rethink that and focus my attention on the more affordable ones without the GPS. I tend to be drawn towards lighter dialed pieces. I love white, cream, champagne dials, so I narrowed down my search to the SBXY085, 095 and 049. Once I started to watch videos on these three, the SBXY049 quickly stood out, the black bezel framing the textured segmented dial, and it was clear that there was a lot of light play from the, well, many polished touches. It houses a fairly recent movement, the 8B63. That movement was launched in 2021, and this particular watch was first made available at the end of 2022, so it's not a new release, but it's also not an old model either. Of course, before pulling the trigger, I ran through the features to make sure I was happy, watched a few more videos, and then after a couple of glasses of my favourite Argentinian Malbec, I pulled out the credit card and made a purchase. Actually, I used PayPal. And boy, did I make a good decision. Buyer's remorse was a genuine concern. I think it has to be when you're spending this sort of money on a watch that you've not handled, but there is none. As soon as I unboxed it, I knew I'd found a gem. Of course, I may have been equally happy with the others, but I was just relieved it was better than I expected. There are some elements I'd change, but oh boy, it is a beauty. Let me quickly run through the specs and features. Dia shield coated titanium sapphire crystal with super clear AR coating, which is incredible. Yeah, this sort of coating, it's not just an AR coating, it basically makes the crystal look like it's not even there. 100 meters of water resistance, screw down crown, service center only case back, I think. No obvious ways into the case. Loom on the fly adjustment clasp with 3 positions, pin and collar, fairly standard for Seiko. And the features, well, it is a solar quartz radio controlled watch. It has overcharge prevention function, instant start function, power saving function, fully automatic calendar until the 31st of December 2099, 25 time zones for the world time function, dual time display, so two sets of hands on the dial, day date, complications, radio wave correction function, so it will connect to the towers basically to correct the time. I mean, it's plus minus 15 seconds a month without that. Forced reception function, so if it hasn't connected to the towers you can force it to. Reception result display, automatic needle position correction function, so if the hands move for whatever reason, magnetism, or it's been knocked, it detects that and moves them back. You can move the date complication and the days of the week hand, and I think the other hands manually. I'll link the manual in my video description. When this watch arrived, the date wasn't actually centered. It sat low in the window, so yeah, I was able to move that manually and sort of center it. It wasn't too difficult. No daylight savings time function, which is an odd one. To adjust for summertime, you just have to select a different time zone, which I know achieves the same result, but it just feels a bit weird. No stopwatch either. I would have liked a stopwatch, but I knew there wasn't going to be one. No GPS either. Again, I knew it wasn't going to have a GPS. I'm not wild about the end link fit. They just look a little bit untidy. Pin and collar, it's a little bit fiddly, but I think we expect it from Seiko. And the case finishing is good. It's just not amazing. So it is far from perfect, but thankfully none of that affects my enjoyment of this watch. The thing I enjoy the most is the design. There are so many little details to discover. Under an inspection light or in different lighting conditions, the watch just springs to life. It's amazing. It's better than I ever imagined. One of the best I've seen. And who doesn't love a little diffraction? That's the rainbow colours that appear on certain surfaces when you move the watch around. It's very intentional too. Seiko cuts tiny grooves into the flat surfaces so light bends and separates into its component wavelengths. Mesmerizing. But having said all that, I am faced with a dilemma, a fairly common one, I think. Do I stick or do I twist? I like it so much, I want to keep it, but I want to buy and experience other Astron watches, and none of them are cheap. I'm not in a position, sadly, to keep this and buy others. I'd have to sell watches to get more on the channel. What do you think I should do? I suspect you're going to suggest, I don't know, give it away. That's not going to happen, sadly. But yeah, I suspect you may want to see other Astron watches, so I think the general consensus is going to be sell it to get others in, and that's probably what I'm going to do, reluctantly. I do have other watches I could sell, but it always seems easier to let go of watches you haven't had as long, last in, first out sort of thing. I really am 50-50, to be honest. I'll give it some thought, but in the meantime, I'd love to know what your thoughts are, guys. Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching.